All right. Ready?
No,
Set.
hang on.
No?
I feel like I have a burp coming up, so that's why I'm stalling. As soon as we start, I'm gonna be like, blah, 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 brarp.
Oh, this coffee is yummy. I'm like, what is maybe 30 minutes past my coffee time, and it's like I've been dying. I have a problem.
I do too. I have to have coffee first thing in the morning. Okay. Hello, Wendy.
Hi.
So this is different. We're actually podcasting at 8 a.m. This is like a job now. We've got coffee. Well, Wendy usually has coffee.
Yeah, I do.
I don't usually have coffee. I usually have had some kind of caffeinated substance
Right.
by the 6 or 7 o'clock my time night.
That's the thing. It's like 6 or 7 o'clock your time, but it's like 3 o'clock mine. That's
Right.
afternoon coffee.
That's
what
afternoon
are you
coffee.
talking about?
I will have had my afternoon nap by the time we start podcasting. But we are here in the lovely Las Vegas. If you can see by watching our video that's on YouTube, we have this amazing backdrop here of Sin City.
Yeah. You know, it is 8 o'clock in the morning, so nothing's lit up.
Yeah,
So it does just look like a bunch of buildings.
it does.
But
We're not lying to you. It's really Las Vegas.
but we are on the top fucking floor.
Yeah, we
so
are.
this is like the penthouse view, guys.
Yeah, it is.
It's got to be good, right?
There is actually, Wendy found out last night that if she huddles in the corner of the window, she can actually see the Bellagio fountain
Yes.
across the street.
And you can see the Ferris wheel that I don't remember the name of.
Yes, and I can see the unnamed Ferris wheel.
It's got a name. It's a big deal.
It's really nice is what I'm trying to say. And honestly, it's my fault that we're doing this at 8 a.m. because we had this set up to do it at night so you could see the beautiful lights, but I had a killer headache and you wouldn't have liked me. I would have not been able to laugh or smile or even talk, really.
It was also very noisy last night, which, you know, we've been doing podcasts outdoors and stuff like that. So we've kind of been the hell with the public, you know. Let's hope we can fix that audio up. But there was, you know, some Jesus protesting or something
yes.
down there.
Megaphone.
And then there were sirens going off constantly. So again,
Yeah.
we've been doing podcasts with road noise and things like that. So, I mean, that wasn't the hugest deterrent. It was more of a distraction than anything.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Like right down here, we're on the 73rd floor.
73rd floor, and we can hear that fucker down on the corner. It was pissing me off.
Yeah.
So she has a headache, and I'm getting angry.
It's just not
just
bueno.
Couldn't believe that. I mean, I know this is a big city, and it's very densely populated on this strip. So you're going to hear outside noise. But I was like, I paid for this. I was such a Karen.
The room is lovely. The hotel is nice. We didn't expect it to be so massive. Like we had to park. It felt like a million miles away.
Yeah.
Then we had to stand in line to check in after it's like, all you have to do is check in early, download the QR code.
Like online.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're just going to a kiosk. Well, you and 1,000 other people are
Stand
going
in
to
line.
kiosks.
There's
Yeah.
this thing called social
What
distancing.
coronavirus?
Right. What is that?
I mean, I know we're out, so we can't be hypocrites, you know? But it was just like, shit.
Wow.
We just came here to see a haunted museum.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh boy. So along that note, we did actually get to see a haunted museum last night. So I decided to do, well, we decided collectively that I would do a story on it.
But it is going to be a surprise to me what route you take with it.
Yeah.
Because you've done podcasts that just happen to route back
Yeah.
to these items are now sitting at the haunted museum.
That's pretty crazy.
So I don't know exactly if you picked a certain item or what you did.
Yeah.
So that will be a surprise to me.
This
but
is
I did
fun.
tell you that's your topic. You go with it.
It was really, really fun to go to the Haunted Museum and see all of these relics of things that I've studied for the podcast. So it was almost like taking a trip back in time and looking at our previous podcasts by like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, here's Natalie Wood stuff. You
We
know
know about
we
that.
know about that. It was a lot of fun. And I do recommend the museum. It was something you've got to see. It's almost like a Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Yes, but I was going to say, but all the stuff is real. It's supposed to be in Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Yeah,
too,
right.
But I don't know. Some of that stuff
Yeah.
is questionable, but
Some
I
of it
guess
is.
it's real. If it's real in Zach's museum, and I believe it's real there,
Yeah.
then why would I question it with Ripley's? Because he's got like shrunken head.
He's
shit
got,
too.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He does have quite an array of things. I've only been to the Ripley's Believe It or Not in Missouri, but I think you went to the one in California, right?
I have no idea.
Oh. It is early. It's 8 a.m.
Well,
We
I
just
mean-
had sips of coffee.
when I was a kid, I know I've been to one or two. My parents thought that was a fun thing for the kids to do, and I guess I've done that to my kids a couple of times. So I don't know. East Tennessee, Missouri.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I thought the one in Missouri was really cool. And that was my first experience with it. I didn't even know that there was a book and all this other stuff is, I guess, the whole reason why I brought it up.
Yeah. My kids, well, it's not Ripley's, but sometimes with Ripley's, they'll have a Guinness museum too.
Yeah.
And my kids like the Guinness stuff. They get the books.
I think they had that in Missouri.
Yeah, they have them like side by side.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyways, we're not in Missouri. We're in Las Vegas.
Let's talk about another vacation spot.
That's how I do it, guys. I get sidetracked very easily, and I can go on and on and on and talk about something else.
Squirrels, yeah.
So when we originally made the plan to visit Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum, I could not wait to tell you this story. This story that I have decided to tell you was actually one that was kind of like in the back of my mind. Because I told you last night that originally I wanted to do the story on Kevorkian.
Yeah.
But it is such a depressing story and a real story that I couldn't do it. I started writing it and then I found myself bawling my eyes out. And I'm like, I'm going to bring that to Las Vegas. It's supposed to be an upper kind of a podcast. I mean, I get it. Things happen. These people's lives were affected and they shouldn't have had to go through what they went through. But also, he shouldn't have been practicing without a license. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
there's two sides
they make
here.
those rules for a reason.
Right.
There are people that will, practice without a license and do things that are not helpful towards people.
Yeah.
And it's only helpful towards their pocket or something.
Yeah.
So there's a fine line. I agree. Oh, I don't know if I would say I agree, but I don't know that I see anything wrong with what he was doing on a moral level.
Yeah.
But on a legal level, it is.
It is.
So I can't be too terribly upset that the police or whoever, brought charges up against him and stuff. They have to because he wasn't following the law.
Right, exactly.
But if in that process, some things have changed, and that's what the lady said, that there are some states that now have what
assisted,
did she say?
I won't want to say murdering, but
basically you
assisted
can
death or
assisted
something.
suicide.
Yeah, that's it. There you go.
Thing.
Assisted
but
suicide.
It's crazy that they call it suicide still, but I guess it is. But yeah.
Well, if it's
basically, if you're terminal and that's your choice, and there are, what you say, like 7 or 9 states that allow you to do that. So, I mean, he created a movement.
Yeah. And it was rightfully so. It is your choice, regardless of everything that's going on. If you're in that much pain and you're suffering and there's nothing that can be done except for to live it out and suffer, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So I decided I couldn't do that story.
It's just depressing.
It's hard. It's really, really hard. They even have a copy of the movie that you can find on YouTube. They had a copy of it in the Dr. Kevorkian area, and I was just like, oh, God, these memories. I don't like it in here. I didn't not like it in there. There's these stories where people go in there and they feel overwhelmed with, I don't know, some kind of emotion and they pass out.
Yeah.
I didn't have that kind of a feeling in there. I know the story and it was sad to see it. So I wasn't like going to pass out because there's some kind of dark entity or anything in there.
No, you just feel bad for those people that this is how it had to happen for them.
Yeah.
That they felt they had no other choice. And I'm sure maybe they didn't. And that this is how they spent their last moments.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's nice that they got assistance if that's what they really needed or felt like they needed. It's sad that they couldn't do it in a more peaceful, comforting environment than just the back of somebody's van. Which
van.
It sounds like he tried to make it. He played music for them and stuff.
And
yeah.
That was pretty nice.
And for people that don't know the Kevorkian story, maybe you've just heard about it a little bit in the news and you're like, how could they agree with this stuff? One key note is he handed the machine to the people.
That's the assisted
he did not
part.
Do it.
No, he didn't actually inject them or whatever. He gave them all of the tools that they could, basically do it themselves.
Yeah.
And he just made them as comfortable as possible.
I guess maybe we should say at least that's what they say he did.
Yeah.
Because it is just him and that person.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe he video recorded it or something. I'm just saying now I realize I don't know where the proof is. That's how it went down. But I do think the story makes a big difference when it wasn't him all right, hand me the $20
down.
And then give you the shot. It was like, all right, whenever you're ready or if you don't want to, whatever.
Right, here's
the button.
Up to you. Yeah, he did. He put it in their hands. So, yes, needless to say, I'm not doing that story. But I am doing, as Wendy mentioned a minute ago, I am doing a story on something that you can find at the Haunted Museum. And if this happens to be your very first podcast of ours to listen to, let me just fill you in on a little secret. I am very intrigued by Ed and Lorraine Warren cases. I've talked about them on a few podcasts by sprinkling them in here and there, and even did one episode entirely on one case which involved the Smurl family. I own a few of their books, and yes, I do love the Conjuring universe, though I'm very much aware of the magic of the cinema. Just like there's magic at Zach Pagan's Haunted Museum.
Are you talking about that guy?
Yeah, the clown guy.
That was a no.
That is a no. You know, there are things that people have legitimate like fears of, and that's fine. That's totally fine. But when you take them through these places and they're already on high alert, and then you put a sadistic looking clown crawling behind you, stomping. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like a nope.
I just don't like people jumping out at me. It's like, it's one thing if it's a ghost like, hi. You know, they don't probably even mean to surprise you. They just can't help it.
Yeah,
I just finally worked up enough energy to be here. And you need to appreciate that moment.
Yeah, and then Chris screams at them.
But just something in a whoever in a clown costume.
Creepy clown costume.
Yeah, but I knew it was going to happen because I've been there before. And
They did that to you before?
It didn't happen to me. It happened to like the person in front of me or something like that. I wasn't in the back.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of knew not to be in the back, but I felt bad because you had already had a jump scare, basically.
Oh, that's fun. But I'm actually okay with it. I was just trying to actually soak up all of the stuff. I really didn't think that they were going to do jump scares. I thought that was kind of like not, because it's supposed to be full of artifacts and things.
I did not remember the door opening. I didn't set you up.
Oh, no, I don't think you did. But those two girls that were in there with us, they're like, oh, the birds are my favorite. They're my favorite. Look at the birds. And as soon as I turned around, I was like, what's with the birds?
So you think they were out in the hallway talking about setting us up?
I think so.
Son of a bitch.
That's what I said, the son of a bitch. So I did not like those two girls. No, I'm just kidding. They were fine. Just wanted to spice things up.
So there is a couple of jump scares, and that's annoying.
Yeah.
But I thought when you said magic, you were talking about the guy that put the buckets on his eyeballs.
Oh, yeah, that was interesting, too. I'm just talking about all of it.
Oh, no.
That was, yeah, well.
That's that, like, where I'm a magic person and I eat glass and I survive.
Yeah.
I want to see you fly.
Yeah.
Or make something disappear.
I like freak show stuff.
I like freak show,
Yeah.
but not, I don't know. Like, I don't need to see gross body.
It always weirds me out. Like, they have the sword swallower.
Okay, that one doesn't, I guess I have a very, I guess I'm a picky freak show person.
Right.
That's okay, but
Right.
that's too much.
Don't put hooks in your eyelids, sir.
Get those hooks out of your eyeballs. Put a sword down your throat instead.
Right. What are you doing?
God. So distasteful.
I didn't expect to come to see that there. So
Yeah.
I think that's why I said that was interesting. I'm expecting just relics and someone kind of guiding you through a museum. So when we get to this part and this guy's like, and I'm going to put hooks in my eyes and I'm going to swing this bucket of water around with it. And I'm like, dude, let's watch this. Go for it.
And I'm like,
Yeah,
what's
when
on
he's
this
like,
wall
no.
behind us? I'm not watching this garbage.
It was funny.
That didn't happen when I went the first time.
No,
but a lot of changes have happened. Yeah.
Which is good. I like that they
if
spice
you
it
went
up.
When it first opened, you should go again. It's got new stuff.
Yeah.
And they've changed rooms around too.
Yes. And it looks like he might have bought the house behind him.
Yeah, so we'll have to even go back again.
We have to come back to Las Vegas, though.
Let's do somewhere else.
He needs to open up a haunted hotel.
Right. Yeah, that's what that house should be.
I mean, that would be fantastic.
I don't care what it costs. I'd pay it.
I know. Anything to keep us from having to come back to the Strip. I'm sorry for anybody who loves it. It's just not our thing.
There's so many people.
There are so many people. So when I found out that Zach Bagans purchased an item that has ties to Ed and Lorraine Warren and this freaky story, it was like, I just cannot wait to see it. So now that the stars have all aligned, let me tell you one really messed up story. Back on February 16th, 1981, Arnie Cheyenne Johnson, I think his middle name is Cheyenne. I assume that's how it's pronounced. It's Cheyenne. Okay. Arnie Cheyenne Johnson, who was only 19 years old, stabbed his landlord multiple times with a 5-inch pocket knife.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
And it just says multiple times?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was the first murder on the books in the 193-year history of Brookfield, Connecticut. According to Johnson, however, while his was the hand that held the knife, the murder was committed by a demonic force that had overtaken him. Of course, I'm not going to do a story that doesn't have demonic ties since we're talking about Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum, you know? For Johnson's victim, the story ended there, but for Johnson and the Warrens, it had started months earlier when the 11-year-old David Glatzel allegedly had a strange encounter. Glatzel's older sister, Debbie, was Johnson's fiancée. David Glatzel, Debbie Glatzel, and Arnie Johnson were cleaning up a rental property when David told them that an old man had appeared, pushing and threatening him. At first, the couple wrote it off as a kid who was trying to get out of doing his chores. They're like, go back to sweeping the floors. But David remained adamant. The odd sightings not only continued, they increased in both frequency and intensity. At night, David would wake up crying, describing visitations by a man with big black eyes, a thin face, animal-like features, and jagged teeth. Pointed ears, horns, and hooves. Sorry, this goes on and on and on. I keep looking up because I'm like, that's the end. Then I look down and no, there's more. David's visions of a man had morphed from appearing as an old man with a white beard, dressed in a flannel shirt and jeans, to now appearing entirely as a demonic beast who would also mutter words or phrases in Latin and threaten to steal his soul.
That makes so much sense, actually.
Really?
Well, I mean, like that it would ease you into
it. It was, yeah.
Yeah, it was like just a kind of a creepy, authority type figure, older man. You listen to me, boy.
Sure.
And then it's like slowly starting to show itself.
Well, isn't this something that we've heard before? It always seems like it kind of appears as something that you can trust or that you would want to help at first, and then it slowly releases its darker side to you.
Yeah.
Fuck demons, man. They are creepy.
They're so clever.
They're so smart. Although the family acknowledged hearing strange noises coming from the attic, no one but David ever witnessed the old demonic man. After David experienced night terrors, exhibited strange behavior, and obtained unexplained scratches and bruises, the family called upon the services of a Catholic priest who attempted to bless the house. The terrified family concluded that the house was evil and would no longer continue to rent it. David's visions worsened and began occurring in the daytime as well as at night. David informed his family that the old man had vowed to harm them if they decided to move out. The Glatzels reached out to a priest from nearby St. Joseph's Catholic Church to bless their home, but David's frightening encounters continued. Over the next few months, he gained 60 pounds really quickly, and family members had to sit up with him throughout the night. David would suddenly jerk awake at all hours to hiss, growl, speak in strange voices, and suddenly began reciting passages from the Bible or from Milton's Paradise Lost.
Wow.
I don't even know what that is.
Well, I just find it, I don't know what that is either, but I'm not like, wow, that's my favorite book. I can't believe it. I do that too. Is that weird? No, but I just mean that's incredibly strange.
That is incredibly strange.
I would also assume that they found this strange and it wasn't like, oh, that makes sense. He's been reading that book.
Right.
It's his favorite book.
Right.
Like when my sister's favorite band was Bush at one point, when it was big.
Yeah.
And swear to God, she woke up in the middle of the night one time, sat straight up and sang some of the lyrics. She also flipped her hair and then she just flopped back down. And I was like, okay. I don't think it was a demon. No. She's fine now.
Right. That's funny. If Bush had any demonic ties to it, I probably would have been possessed too back in the day. I love that band.
But it's crazy. Like I need to find this book because I want to know why the devil likes it so much.
Yeah, I know. I was supposed to look into that so that I could see if there was any other ties.
I mean, and I guess this is a demon, and he doesn't necessarily. It's not like he has book club with the devil.
Demon book club.
It could just be his particular favorite, but I just wonder what's in there.
Right. What is it about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sorry. I failed. There might be like all kinds of ritualistic crap in there.
A book report by next week.
I will get it for you. Sorry, my dog ate my book report.
No. I just want to find it now and skim through it. I don't have time to read, but.
Well, we'll be driving later, so I'll look it up. I'll fill you in on
read it
more.
To me out loud.
Yes.
And then we'll probably end up possessed.
Oh, shit.
That's probably how you call the demon.
Oh, then maybe I won't read it. I'll look at something that chops up half of it, and then I'll just read you the
safe version.
Yeah, the safe version. So the now desperate Glatzel family requested the help of the self-proclaimed demonologists Ed and Lorraine Warren. When the couple first interviewed the family, Lorraine reported seeing a black misty form appear next to David, which she interpreted as being something of a negative attachment.
Yeah,
or
at
a
this
demon.
Point, I wouldn't be. Your guardian angels are a little rough.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. During the course of David's possession, the Warrens had feared that they were sitting on a powder keg, and that's in quotes. So I guess that was one of their
terms that they used.
That was their term. In October of 1980.
Sorry, I was thinking of what was it the other day that you was like saying it was your favorite word, hotbed.
Hotbed of paranormal activity.
That was like one of their words.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. powder
fuel
keg
here.
of paranormal
Powder
activity.
keg.
It doesn't have the same ring, but okay.
Sitting on a powder keg. In October of 1980, the Warrens contacted the Brookfield police and warned them that the situation was growing increasingly dangerous. David made numerous references to murder and stabbings. That was, in quotes again, per Lorraine Warren.
Never good when
No.
your children are talking like that.
No, it's not good. And it's very interesting that she reached out to the police beforehand to be like, hey, red alert. Powder keg. Some shit's happening. You might want to just keep an eye on this. David complained of being choked and hit by invisible hands, and witnesses reported that red marks appeared spontaneously on his body. As the situation worsened, the Warrens claimed to have been present at, they call it 3 lesser exorcisms. I don't even know what that means either. I'm sorry. I assume that it's maybe not the full clergy, or maybe it's not the full passage of exorcism performed. I don't know why they would do that, because there's like a whole, if you're going to perform an exorcism, the priest has to fast like for a period of days beforehand. So maybe.
I think it's a really big deal to get one approved.
Yeah.
Like an official, like the mega exorcism.
Yeah, right.
And then they have little ones that are just kind of like cleansing,
right.
So you don't need the full approval. So
Yeah.
I imagine as the paperwork was sent in and they were waiting for a response, they were like, well, in the meantime, we're going to try this.
We're going to try this.
Yes.
I like that
That's
idea.
how I would interpret it.
Okay.
There's a lot of paperwork
Being
involved with these things.
processed. Lorraine asserts that David levitated, ceased breathing for a time, gave the names of 43 demons that were possessing him, and even demonstrated the supernatural ability of precognition. And this was specifically in relation to the murder Johnson would later commit. In desperation, Arnie Johnson, who was present at the exorcisms, demanded that the demons leave David alone and possess him instead.
Right. Sorry. I don't know where I was just for a second.
But I'm back with you.
They almost got me.
I'm not getting you that Paradise Lost book. You were staying here with me.
It's going to be so easy for them to take me away.
Especially if there's pirates in that book.
What? I love pirates.
Now I'm back on board. So a few days after Johnson egged the demon on during the exorcism, he was attacked rather viciously by the demon, which took control of his car and slammed it into a tree. Fortunately, Johnson was unharmed during the attack, but he became determined to do something that would put an end to the demonic activity.
I think this is what I was thinking of a second ago. How many other exorcist cases do you think people were like, don't hurt them, hurt me instead? And it didn't work out.
Yeah.
But this demon was like, yeah, actually, this little boy, all he ever does is sit at home.
Right.
Maybe like go to school. But you have like a car and
Right.
a girlfriend and a landlord. Like
Yeah.
you interact with other people.
There's other things. Yeah.
This could be a better choice.
Yeah.
Maybe I chose wrong. I thought this little kid would help me out. It's just so funny. How many other cases have you seen it like transfer like this?
Yeah.
And I would imagine, like if it was my child, I would say the same thing or whatever.
Right, exactly.
So I would think that these other people weren't selfish. They
Right,
didn't have
right.
selfish family members and somebody said that.
They're just like,
And this is the first time the demon was like, oh yeah, you actually could get around.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a car.
It is really interesting. And, from what I read, David looked up to Arnie as if he was an older brother. I mean,
Right.
Arnie was engaged to his sister.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, sure, there was a family tie there, it seemed like. So it made sense that he'd want to help him. It's really interesting that, like you said, the demon's like, yeah, I think I could get a better gig over here.
Yeah.
I think
That's what just, because I heard a tiny bit of the story last night. So
Yeah.
I remember the tour guide saying this.
Yeah.
And obviously you just kind of said it in the beginning too. But that's so crazy how easy it was.
Yeah.
Don't take them, take me. Okay.
Okay.
How many other
Enough
demons
said.
have done that?
I don't know many stories that were like this. And yeah, when we made it to this part of the museum, I was like, maybe Wendy won't pay attention. Here we go again.
Well, no,
this tour guide's stealing my
didn't
thunder.
know what you were going to pick
Yeah.
or anything, but I didn't think you would pick this one.
Yeah. Well, like I said, no, I didn't say it on the podcast, but when I was talking to Wendy about it before, I'm like, I'm going to have to act not excited about anything in there so that it doesn't seem like, I don't give it away.
So you were interested but not excited about the woman that was a paranormal investigator.
Yeah.
So I almost thought that was your podcast story.
And so I was actually really interested in that. And I'm like, I'm going to try to do some magic here. And maybe Wendy will think it's
I
this
did.
and forget about this
I
other
was like,
thing.
she's being too cool. I forgot that was even there, but
I
it is a
didn't.
really interesting story. So we won't talk about it because I think one of us should talk about it fully.
I definitely
I
want to
think it
look into
deserves
that.
that respect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a cool story.
So let's go back to this one instead.
All
Forget
right.
we said that.
Forget
Yes.
about it. Demons. So, according to an episode of the Discovery Channel series A Haunting, which aired in August of 2006, there was a well on the same rental property where all the alleged trouble had started. The Warrens warned Johnson not to investigate the well, but after his car accident, he did that. He's like, I'll show these demons. Johnson recalls making eye contact with the demon in the depths of the well.
Like he just looked down there and he's just like, hey.
I see you.
Can you pass some sandwiches down here or something?
I'm hungry.
He's just staring at him.
Yeah.
What?
Well, if that's the case, then demon's like, give me some sandwiches. And Arnie just starts threatening him. I don't know how you threaten a demon, but he's just like, you stay away from my family. Don't you come up here. Leave me alone, demon. Demon's just like, man, I just wanted some
He
sandwiches."
probably felt safe because he's way down there and
Yeah.
he didn't know if that demon can fly or...
I don't know what he was
I'm
thinking.
sure a demon can crawl up a wall though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they can
make
just
people
jump
do it all
souls.
the time.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
According to Johnson, this was the last time that he was completely lucid until after the murder.
It's crazy.
So shortly thereafter, Debbie Glatzel and Arnie Johnson moved out of the Glatzel home. Debbie, who had already been hired by a man named Alan Bono as a dog groomer in the Brookfield Pet Motel, she then rented a nearby apartment from Bono with Arnie. Though Debbie quickly learned that moving out did not actually rid them of those demons. Debbie recalled that Arnie began to growl and say he saw the beast, but later he would have no memory of it. She said, and I quote, "It was just like David." On February 16th, 1981, Johnson called in sick to his job at Wright Tree Services and joined Debbie at the kennel where she worked, along with his sister Wanda and Debbie's 9-year-old cousin Mary. Bono, the couple's landlord and Debbie's employer at the kennel, decided to bring the whole group to lunch at a local bar, and then he decided to get fucking wasted. Lunchtime wasted. After lunch, the group returned to the kennel. Debbie then took the girls to get pizza, but insisted that they return quickly, anticipating the trouble. I don't get that. I don't understand how you go out for lunch and then we're like, let's go get some pizza. It must have been salads. I don't know. This is like an appetizer for
I
lunch.
think this was a liquid lunch.
Yeah, I think it
and
was
then
all.
somebody's like, we should sober
We should
up.
have-
We
yeah.
should go get some pizza.
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. So anyways, they returned. Bono, who is now, like I said, totally blitzed, apparently is also an angry drunk. What a great way to end your day, huh?
Your day, it's noon. I mean,
Well, they come back and she's like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and groom some dogs. And oh, you're shit-faced. So now what do? We just keep grooming dogs or what do we? All right, great. So it all escalated pretty quickly from that point. Everyone left the room at Debbie's urging. She's like, everybody, you guys should get the fuck out of here. Except Bono, who grabbed Mary, this was the little 9-year-old, and refused to let her go. Johnson headed back and began arguing with Bono and demanded that he let Mary go, but I don't know. It didn't seem like it was going to end well. So somehow Mary manages to get free and she runs straight for the car. Debbie continued to try to mitigate the situation by standing between Johnson and Bono, but the situation continued to intensify. Wanda tried to pull Johnson away. Johnson, who started growling like an animal at this point, pulled out his 5-inch pocket knife and began stabbing Bono repeatedly. Bono died due to the wounds he sustained. According to Johnson's lawyer, Bono had suffered 4 or 5 tremendous wounds. That's what you were going to ask me earlier, like how many?
Yeah, no, I don't know why it mattered to me, but I consider this to be a small knife.
It is a small knife.
I know it matters very much like where
Where?
you get stabbed.
So that's the thing. I think he got stabbed a lot, but the 4 or 5 tremendous wounds that were stretched between his stomach to the base of his heart, I guess that's what did it. Yeah, he really went for him. Johnson, I guess he fled the site, so he had enough sense to get the hell out of there because they found him 2 miles away, and he was held at the Bridgeport Correctional Center on bail for $125,000. When it came time for the trial, Martin Minella, Johnson's attorney, attempted to enter a plea of not guilty by reason of demonic possession.
I don't know if this lawyer's a genius or if he just didn't know what else to say.
So this was the first time such a plea had been attempted in the United States. Minella cited that this had actually been used before in England. So that's why he's like, all right, we're going to give this a shot now too. The only problem is that those 2 cases that happened in England never went to trial. So Lorraine Warren agreed that Johnson had been possessed at the time of the murder, and Minella planned to fly in experts from Europe and subpoena the priests who had been involved in the exorcisms of David Glatzel, none of which ultimately came to pass. Robert Callahan, the presiding judge in the case, rejected the plea, arguing that such a defense would be impossible to prove and that testimony on the subject was irrelevant and unscientific.
Well, listen, now if they throw out cases all the time because the person being charged or whatever is not fit for
to stand trial, whatever. Yeah.
Would that not be the same as like saying that this person was possessed?
I would think so.
It's still like a mental health condition, I would think.
Yes. I think that the judge here was thinking that they were trying to pull in like a 3-ring circus kind of deal.
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
You know, the attention that it would receive. I'm sure no judge wants this.
Yeah.
Like, not me.
No, yeah.
No. Because it's going to turn into a joke and they don't want to be a part of it because they take their job seriously, I would assume.
Right.
But I don't feel like this is any different than somebody going in being like, they were just not stable at the time.
Yeah. And I do think with that being said that they did have more proof with that. They had all of this lead up to this situation. They had priests, they had,
they had people that documented these situations that this family had been dealing with.
Right.
I mean, maybe they were trying to get him completely off, like, because it's like, no, it wasn't him. It was this third party.
Right.
Demon.
That they can't try.
Yeah.
There's no.
Yeah, that's a nope.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I would assume you could take it to court and then you can be like, yeah, okay, demonic possession. And you should be locked up.
Right.
Just in case that demon ever wants to come back and visit you.
Exactly. Yeah.
But like, locked up in a mental
institution. You need somebody to sit down and just keep an eye on you.
Yeah.
I agree with that train of thought, but that's not really what happened here.
Yeah.
Ultimately, Johnson's legal team entered a plea of self-defense. However, the jury was not persuaded of his innocence. The jury deliberated for 15 hours over 3 days before convicting Johnson on November 24th, 1981, of first-degree manslaughter. He was sentenced to 10 to 20 years in prison, though he only served 5.
What the... See, you might as well just have let the demonic possession thing go through.
I know.
What the fuck does it even matter? A plea of self-defense is bullshit, by the way. And then this outcome. The fact that they were only 10 to 15 years in the first place.
Right. You
Why
killed
would it
somebody.
not be somebody's lifespan?
That's right. Somebody's life is lost in this.
Yes.
I get the guy was being an asshole. It doesn't... I mean, you call the cops. You don't get involved with your 5-inch pocket knife and stab him to death.
Yeah. Look, in any situation, murdering somebody is not the end result.
Thank you.
PSA. Yeah. It's just not allowed. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. No, I thought that was really strange. If they had put him away, like put him in an asylum or something, he probably would have been there a lot longer. I think they would have wanted to study him. They probably would have found them demons. They would have, I don't know.
I don't know if he'd spent 5 years there with no relapses and he was a good patient or whatever, then at least you could let him go knowing, well, I guess he's fine.
So it could have worked out either way, 5 years basically.
I don't know. You don't know if the demon was done with him or not.
Well, so that's what I was going to get into next, actually. Once they let him go, I was totally wondering if that demon, like, just didn't like the prison food or what. Maybe he was, released because of his good behavior for 5 years. So for 5 years after he murdered somebody, after he was, infested with a demon, the demon's like, cool, and I'm gone. I mean, what does he do?
I don't think that demon went to jail with him.
Yeah.
Well, you think of all the fucked up people that we saw a whole room of it last night.
Yeah.
Richard Ramirez and stuff. That man is fucked.
A lot of it.
You can't tell me a regular human being can go that wrong in their life and have that mindset all on their own. That's fucking terrifying. That's the scariest thing we'll ever encounter.
Yeah.
But if he had something kind of always with him or whatever, it was the devil himself, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
He still acted fucked up in prison too, though.
Yeah.
So never mind. I take my whole thought process back. I was just thinking once they get, arrested and go to jail, the demon's like, well, this is no fun.
What's the guy? Because I think he was actually a really good prisoner. Oh, what's his name?
Well, shit, Manson, he's just kind of full of shit or whatever. But even when he went to prison, all he did was like,
blah, blah, blah,
blah, exactly. Listen to me or blah, 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 But he was a mellow dude.
Right. He was a mellow dude.
But half those murderers seem to be that they were. Like, a lot of them didn't get into a whole lot of trouble when they went to really fucked up people.
Right.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them, it just depends on which one we're talking about here, but some of them really like to kind of fuck with your mind, make you think that they're these other people. They want to kind of take control of your brain first before they do whatever else they want to with you. So Manson was a smooth talker and he wanted you to be on his side. And once he got you, then he's like, cool, let's go and do these creepy crawler murder things. And they're like,
but
yes.
you couldn't do a whole lot of that in jail.
Yeah, right.
So,
right.
I mean, I just think a demon would get bored.
Yeah,
and be
right.
Like, so if he was possessing him, there would have been a riot or something going on, you know. If none of that happened, I'm sure that demon pieced out as soon as they put those shackles on.
Yeah. Wow. So that's really all you have to do then, I guess, to get completely exorcised, huh?
Had they put that 9-year-old boy or whatever. How old was he again?
Yeah, he was a 9-year-old boy.
Yeah.
So Arnie gets released from prison, and then he marries Debbie Glatzel.
Oh, my God. When you started telling the story, I was like, well, I guess they didn't get married.
No, they stayed together. They stuck it out.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really weird, huh? So, yeah, that's where I was supposed to say the end. It's a happy ending after all. However, the trial attracted tons of media attention from around the world and obtained such a high level of notoriety due to the numerous depictions of the events in literature and on TV. The bizarre events which surrounded Alan Bono's murder were published in the highly acclaimed book titled The Devil in Connecticut. This book was written by Gerald Brittle in collaboration with Lorraine Warren, where Lorraine stated that profits from the book were shared with the family. Now, the original book is extremely hard to find unless you want to pay between $600 and $900, and that is Amazon money.
Fuck that.
That is right.
I will make up the story myself.
The book was even re-released in 2006 by iUniverse, and I still cannot get my grubby little hands on a copy of that book. Can't even find it on Audible. And it's not because it has bad reviews. Oh, quite the contrary. It has great reviews. But I can't see myself actually plopping down $900 for a book, so I haven't done it yet. Yes. We are in Las Vegas. We still have time to hit the roulette table.
Yes.
But the reason why it might be so hard to locate, like I said, it has nothing to do with the reviews, but because in 2007, around the time the book was re-released, David Glatzel's brother, Carl Glatzel Jr., sued the authors and the book publishers for violating the family's right to privacy, claiming intentional affliction of emotional distress. Because the book alleged he committed criminal and abusive acts against his family and others, he claims that the possession story was a hoax concocted by Ed and Lorraine Warren to exploit the family and his brother's mental illness. And the book presented him as a villain because he did not believe in the supernatural claims. He asserted that the Warrens told him that the story would make the family millionaires and would help get Johnson out of jail. According to Carl Glatzel, the publicity generated by the incident forced him to drop out of school and lose friends and business opportunities. He is currently writing his own book titled Alone Through the Valley, which is supposed to be his version of the events surrounding his brother. Lorraine Warren defended her work with the family, saying that the 6 priests who were involved in the incident all agreed at the time that the boy was possessed and that the supernatural events she described were real. Brittle, author of The Devil in Connecticut, says he wrote the book because the family wanted the story told, and that he also possesses video of over 100 hours of his interviews with the family, and that they signed off on the book as accurate before it went to print. Johnson and Debbie wholeheartedly support the Warrens' account of the demonic possession and have stated that the Glatzels in question are suing simply for monetary purposes. Either way, I looked for Carl's book too, and I was not able to find it. However, there is a link to a blog with the same title on a site called geocities.ws. But before you go looking for it, the site is full of pop-ups and spam, so you are immediately redirected as soon as you open it. So it's not something that I recommend you go looking for.
Doesn't sound very official.
No, I would probably stay away from it. You're probably going to get malware as soon as you open it. I don't know if maybe that's why my computer doesn't work so well these days. But oddly, the result of his lawsuit is not known. Maybe this is a coincidence. Maybe the case may have been dropped, dismissed, or possibly settled. Or maybe something a little more spicy grabbed Carl's attention. So there's this rocking chair that's been sitting around Carl's place, which has been in his family since the 50s, apparently. And it became a gold mine for him in 2019. Carl Glatzel decided to sell the infamous chair with which his brother sat in during his lesser exorcisms. He said that he was moving to a new home and simply didn't want to take it with him. Carl also stated that the family heirloom has mostly been avoided due to its bad juju and claims those who have been brave or stupid enough to sit in it have paid the price with back pain afterwards. He also stated that one of his friends ended up needing surgery. So, since this vintage rocker has demonic ties, it was able to line Carl's pockets with a sweet $67,000.
Damn.
Because that's how much Carl Glatzel sold it to Zach Bagans.
Zach's a bigger sucker than you are.
Look, I'm like, I want this book, but $900, and Zach Bagans like $67,000. Hold
you
on,
bought a box with a picture of a box on it, and we won't talk about how much it was.
No, but that was my exact wording to Wendy. I was like, this is a box with a picture of a box on it. I am a sucker.
It's a music box, but
It's, you know what? It's a music box, but mostly I bought it for my own entertainment value.
never mind that it was probably at least twice what it should be charged.
Oh, probably.
For, yeah.
But I did look to make sure. They don't sell that. If you go to Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum online, there are some things that you can buy and they can ship to you. That's not one of those things.
Oh,
so I'm glad that I bought it. Even though I could have made it myself.
You would have bought this chair.
Yeah, maybe. I'm a sucker, man. Vintage stuff. You tell me it's haunted. It has ties to Ed and Lorraine Warren, and I'm drooling. So it shocked me to discover that Carl sold this chair and was the one who profited on a story that he had filed a lawsuit on.
This is such... I'm not saying the possession's bullshit or anything because we heard the tapes. Like something was going on with that kid.
You.
But this whole family squabble, who gets the money for this fucked up story, is insane.
There was already documented records that the story did profit from the proceeds from the book that I can't find today. I don't know if they're still getting proceeds. I doubt it, because if you think about it, now I would be buying a copy that someone's already seen. So if I bought it again today, they're not going to get any more money off of it. But yeah, I think that Carl is probably a successful man in whatever business that he's in. But the re-release of the book and the Conjuring universe being what it is, he saw dollar signs.
Yeah.
And he got 67,000 buckaroonies.
I guess you can't hate.
No, I can't hate. I can.
I mean...
oh, and I will. But yeah, I mean, whatever. He had a piece of history there and he made some money on it. So, and I need to mention that this information was confirmed by Tony Spera, who was Lorraine Warren's son-in-law. He responded to a backlash the Warrens received because everyone thought that they were the ones who sold the possessed item. Tony was like, let me be clear. We would not sell haunted artifacts. Carl Jr. had it and he sold it to Zach.
Yeah, they keep everything in that museum that they don't
locked away. Nobody can see our stuff either. Tony, come on. So like this whole thing had me going down a rabbit hole. I couldn't find anywhere that Carl Jr. denied this claim either. I thought surely this was a misprint, right? The seller of the chair was most likely, in my mind, Carl Sr. But again, it doesn't look like Carl corrected any of these claims.
No, he took his briefcase of money. He's like,
I got what I needed.
What lawsuit?
It was also very clearly spelled out as Carl, David's brother. So it's like, just in case you missed this, here it is. So yes, I do think that he might have just been in it for the money, whatever.
I'm certain he was.
Right?
Yes.
So enough about Carl. Check out this very odd coincidence. Baggins just so happened to purchase the chair from Glatzel hours before Lorraine Warren passed away.
Oh, that's weird.
That is weird.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't have to spell it out for you in case you missed the whole podcast. Lorraine Warren was leading the paranormal investigation in the case. So you might want to rewind if you missed that. So now Baggins gets the chair, which is now known as the Devil's Chair. But the chair doesn't only come with this cute nickname and a lengthy history and, of course, a sore back from sitting in it. It's also said to rock on its own, levitate, and even vanish.
What?
And reappear.
See, that's the kind of magic I like.
I know. Now you see it. Now you don't.
It's a wizard chair.
It is a wizard chair.
Devil. What? Desert chair?
Now you know why I wanted to do this story. Wizard chairs. David and Lorraine both claim to have seen the devil sitting in it, while others who also claim to see something sitting in it, they simply refer to it as the beast. Like they saw the beast sitting in it.
Yeah, because do you know what the devil exactly looks like? No. Have you met him? Did he show his ID to you and say, I'm the devil? So, I mean, you might confuse another demon for the devil.
Sure.
Assuming that that's what they look like.
Right. I mean, it could have been their cat, and maybe it's like the beast. Well, shortly after bringing this chair to Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum in Las Vegas, I mean, like a month after he puts it on display, he starts to have a number of crazy experiences, both at his haunted museum and, of course, his home. On May 27th, 2019, a tour guide by the name of Virginia posted to Twitter, "No longer than 15 minutes ago, a lady lost her vision on my tour and passed out in the hallway. Her eyes rolled around as she began crying and didn't know why she was crying. 5 tour guides have been crying, myself included." That was from 2019. Another post, also on Twitter, by Bagans himself, a few minutes later confirmed the temporary closure and stated, "Moments before we opened the exhibit, me and my assistant witnessed a plug get yanked out of the wall socket by itself. Then the door to the chair room opened slowly." So Bagans told Newsweek, and I quote, "This is the first time where I have decided to shut an exhibit down at the Haunted Museum due to multiple people being affected in connection to unexplained paranormal activity of the Devil's Rocking Chair. 6 people all shared the same disturbing, uncontrollable crying during the short time I opened the exhibit, one of them being a guest who also collapsed directly above the Devil's Rocking Chair on the stairs." Bagans clarified that the chair is housed directly under the set of stairs. So that's why I asked, is it under the stairs still?
I was wondering why you cared.
Yeah.
And then I still didn't catch on that this would be your story. I was just like, I mean, we ask weird questions all the time. Whatever.
Well, I had to know because that was the thing. He kept saying it's housed directly under the stairs. So we go around and I just ask her and she's like, "Oh yeah, I'll show you where it is. It's actually right here." And she points to the wall where you can't get to it. And she's like, "And you can see the stairs are here." And I'm like, that's weird. It's not directly. It's in proximity. So I don't know, but this was 2019, so they could have moved things around. As Wendy pointed out earlier, they did change things from the last time she had been there.
Yeah, like whole things, I think, moved from the second floor to the bottom floor. So they could have moved things around, and this exhibit wasn't there, of course, because this is new. But, and also maybe he was just generalizing it. Well, how else would you describe it?
But maybe he wasn't. Maybe because it was directly under the stairs at that point in time, and because of all of this shit, now it was closed down. So maybe he thought in order to reopen it, they should move it
from the stairs. So people don't fall on the stairs anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, I could see him thinking of that, yeah.
So now, you guys, if you go, you should be all set on the stairs.
It's okay.
It's okay.
But hold the handrail anyway.
Right. Yes, definitely hold. I was holding the handrail through there. You never know.
It's dark.
There's people crawling
jumping
around in
out,
clown costumes.
At you.
Yeah, exactly. No thanks. So while visitor reactions to haunted objects aren't entirely uncommon at the museum, ambulances have been called more than once in the past. The rocking chair triggered a chain of emotional reactions, even a terrifying experience that met Bagans and a friend, in his own Las Vegas home.
Oh, in his house. Yeah. Well, we know who that friend. No, we don't. Actually, we just speculate.
I just like to speculate. According to Bagans, he and a friend felt an evil presence move between them as they were sitting down in Zach's living room, which then caused his dog to growl. He then became, and he only has the one dog, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He then became very affected, speaking.
If he has another dog, then he is really mean to that dog because you never see
anything. It must be the ugliest dog ever.
Sure. It's not like I know him or stalk him or anything.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure he just has the one dog.
I was just pausing there to check with the expert.
I do show favoritism to one of my dogs over the other, but I equally video record and take pictures.
Yes, you do. You do like children. You put them both on Instagram equally.
But I love one more than the other. No, not really.
I'm letting them know. I'm going to tell them as soon as I see him. I know which one she loves more. So in Zach fashion, he became very affected. He starts speaking strange things about God and Satan with his head down. And then his friend began to cry uncontrollably and ran out of Zach's house.
Pew! She's like, I can't believe this is who I'm in love with. You hear the crazy shit he's saying.
I didn't mean to burn the macaroni, but I didn't expect this to happen. Surveillance footage showed both the room where the chair exhibit was housed and where the woman who suffered the fainting spell had her incident. In the chair room, we see footage taken approximately 20 minutes before the first tour group was allowed in. Bagans is seen standing by the doorway and his assistant is sitting on the floor. On the right side of the screen, the viewing door to see the chair, like we saw it, slowly starts to open, picking up a little speed as it continues. There's a few wooden shelves on the wall which obscure the camera's view of the door until it swings open several inches. And as a PSA, the CCTV video, I don't know why, but back when he set this up, the one that he was using wasn't all that great. I mean, now the stuff that he's using is so good. Like when we watched the thing with Post Malone in the Dybbuk box, I mean, you could see the tattoos on Post Malone's face. So he's amped up his game. But this one, it's just not that good. I don't know why the quality was a little lower.
And it was only put in last year?
Yeah.
questionable.
Questionable. It is questionable.
Uh-huh.
So it's also kind of funny too, because like in a lot of the exhibits that you'll see in the museum, they're showing you the footage of like people passing out and having these emotional responses. But I didn't see that in the chair room. They were playing video of Ed Warren talking about this chair.
Yeah.
But not like all of these other things. So I
All
don't
these
know.
other things that happen there.
It's weird. It's questionable. And we do know that the door is on some kind of a latch. The tour guide presses and it opens up. So who's to say that it was a malfunctioning trigger? So at the time this was reported, it was unclear if the exhibit would reopen or what would come of the chair next. So when we finally made it around, I was like, oh, thank God. I wrote this whole podcast. If that chair wasn't going to be there, shit.
It probably would have been better, though. You could have spun it like this was something you didn't even see on the tour, and this is why.
Yeah, it's in the basement that we can't go into, apparently. No, but they have moved it back out so you can see it.
Yeah.
And on the subject of buying things from Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum that I really don't need, but I can't live without, I did buy a postcard of the haunted chair with the devil in Connecticut and all the little papers, because I was doing the podcast on it. They didn't have that one strapped to a box. So that's kind of cool because, I mean, you can see on his website, like, I don't know, like a snippet of something similar to this photograph, but it's not this photograph. Yeah. And they won't let you take pictures, you know, in the Haunted Museum either.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. You have to get the postcards to like see what the exhibits look like.
Yeah.
And here I am just buying nothing with my cheap ass. Give me my free shirt. Well, it's not free, but you know.
Yeah, I know, right? So I got that as a little memento. So this case was also dramatized on the made-for-TV movie called The Demon Murder Case, which premiered in 1983 on NBC. The movie featured Andy Griffith and Kevin Bacon.
Wow.
I've been talking about him a lot this weekend.
Yeah.
He's been on my mind. Kevin Bacon played the role of the possessed boy who goes on trial for murder. And someday, the Conjuring universe will add another one to its ever-growing list of Warren case movies because The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, is currently in production, though it's been pushed back to 2021 due to internal conflicts. So that was something that I whispered in Wendy's ear, but she didn't hear me, so I just decided I'm not going to start trouble. When we were on tour, the tour guide said because of COVID, and that's not true. The reason why things got pushed back is because of this fucking lawsuit. This guy, you know, he couldn't get involved in making a movie if this whole thing was about to blow up, because then he would probably be sued for rights to things like that too. So that's why it kind of got put on hold. But the movie's back on board, baby. So I really think that the case got dismissed once he sold that chair and made some money.
He's like, I got my money.
Yeah.
Like somebody probably gave him that idea. That was the trade-off.
Yeah.
Somebody was like, look, fucker, do you not know that you could just sell some shit around your house?
Yes.
And say this and that, and you could make money too?
Yeah.
Like, let's not kill this dream. I'm sure you find something else that looks antique later on, Zach will buy it. Okay?
I do also feel like because this guy made such a stink about it that he did work something out with the producer of the movie, because all of the names are going to be used, are not going to be changed. It's the legitimate case.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he got some part of the deal, I'm sure.
He's getting some
So
part of it.
basically they settled it.
I do think so.
And I did hear you.
Oh, you did hear me say that?
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, Chris, shut your mouth.
Well, early on, we were pointing and whispering to each other, and the tour guide goes, I'm sorry, what?
Oh, yeah, Jesse James or something, right?
And I thought that she was basically telling us, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, right,
So
right.
I was trying not to talk when they were talking.
Yeah, because she's like, oh, I'll get to Jesse James or something like that. I'm like, God,
Yeah, like slow
great
your roll.
ears.
Let me, yeah. I didn't know what that was about. Did I really throw her off, or are we not supposed to be talking?
She didn't say that. Keep your comments to a minimum until I'm done talking.
Right, yeah.
So since I have brought this all the way back around to the Warrens, I do have a little show and tell. So what I have is a very vintage book. It's called Ghost Hunters. This is a book from 1989. And yes, my version looks rough as fuck.
No, I love that though. That makes it like authentic.
It is. Well, the sleeve that actually goes around it is chewed up like really bad. So I had to leave it at home. You like my Loki bookmark that's in there?
Yeah.
So I had to at least share this, as it was one of the reasons for my initial interest in this story. The book not only features short stories and interviews of their cases, such as the Smurl family, the Amityville Horror, Bigfoot, and Jane Seymour, but also amongst this collection is an interview with Ed Warren about the devil in Connecticut. In that interview, he said that he felt nobody escapes possession completely, and it changes your life in ways most people could never imagine. He remained in contact with Arnie and Debbie Johnson until his death in August of 2006. Lorraine Warren passed away April 18th, 2019. So, have you been to the Zach Bagans Haunted Museum? Did you faint? Pass out? Experience uncontrollable crying?
Then you're probably going to tell Zach before you tell us.
I know.
But
And if you happen to have a sweet old rocking chair that you want to unload, but maybe not make $67,000 off of it, contact us.
maybe $40.
Maybe $40. $42.97 is probably my max on useless junk. Please write to us at creaturesofthenight.paranormal@gmail.com. And also feel free to visit us over on our socials. You can find us on Instagram as COTN_paranormal and Facebook and Twitter as COTN paranormal. All of these links are also in the show notes. So you can just scroll and click and boom, you're there.
Magic.
Magic. Just like these chairs.
Yeah, we made you disappear.
Disappear.
Onto that next link. Yeah.
Right? Zoop. You're there. So please help to show your support for the show by rating, reviewing, and subscribing. We would really, really appreciate it. So you really don't have to sell us any of your haunted items. Just click that like and subscribe, and that'll do us just nicely.
Yes.
We would appreciate it.
Truly ask for.
We are putting these shows up each week. Like I said, if you're new to this, then you'll understand that there will be another one next week. But they're also on YouTube, and you can see some clips. Like we've been discussing how there's this view of Las Vegas behind us. I just showed Wendy a postcard from the Haunted Museum and my Zoop Show and Tell Ghost Hunters book here. So you'll need to go and check us out on YouTube so you can get visuals, and like and subscribe to that too. That would be awesome. There's also this cool store that we have. It's called the Spirit Emporium, where, I mean, we don't really have anything that's going to keep demons away from you. But
I mean, if you burn one of our sage candles, it could help.
It could help.
We think they don't like it.
It's our version of a lesser exorcism.
Yeah.
We think they don't like it. I don't know why. I love the scent of sage.
I love it too.
Yes.
But we're not demons.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? You're not a demon.
No.
Okay.
I don't know. You know, Wendy says that I haven't been making noises in my sleep, but my husband seems to think I make these weird twitchy noies. So that could be
I
the
know.
demon.
I've not heard them, but I must sleep like a log. Because last night you were like, I heard this and that. And I was like, what?
Yeah, right.
I didn't hear any of that.
Yeah, I heard a lot of noises last night. We are next to a very noisy street, and obviously we're not the only ones on this floor, but, you know.
Still, I heard none of it.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're in, of course, a haunted hotel. So
we'll
the first
tell you
thing
about that next week.
Next week, you'll
Yeah.
get to hear more. So then that's really all that I have for you. Like I said, visit our shop if you want some cool goodies. You know, if you don't want to like and subscribe, that would be weird. But, you know, if you just like to get things in the mail, then just check out our shop and we'll send you something. You have to buy it first.
Well, I love this because out of everything that we went through last night, I mean, I knew a lot of the stories we covered them already.
Yeah.
Well, this one, the second she said trial, demon possession, and then they played the little clip where you hear their actual, like, this wasn't just a hearsay.
Wasn't that
type this.
amazing?
It was documented,
Yeah.
you know? That's the best child actor I ever met if this was fake.
Right.
So I was like, wow, this is a really interesting story. I'm sure Chris knows all about this.
Yeah, I
and
know.
of course you do.
When we walked in there and they're like, Ed and Lorraine Warren, I'm like, oh, no, don't look at me. Don't look at me, Wendy. I'm going to give it away.
Well, no, I know you already, like, you love those movies and everything.
Yeah.
You love Ed and Lorraine. Like, I knew you knew this story.
Yeah.
I still could not pinpoint, you know, what story
Yeah.
you were going to do. I will tell you, when it comes to that rocking chair, I don't think shit's going on with that rocking chair.
When they open up the door and it's like drum roll. And then
Now, listen, they say that when it came here, all these things happened to these people and everything. So I don't know, maybe, but I don't see the connection. Yes, he was in the chair and that's when the possessions were happening.
Right.
But we already know that the demon was spotted in the well. So his original, like, little hole that
Yeah.
he came out of was
Right.
probably somewhere around that well or underneath that house. And then he jumped from the boy to the younger man. So what connection does he have on the chair?
The chair.
So
Yeah.
it's an artifact just like anything else.
Exactly.
Like he's got in his museum a chair that was in Michael Jackson's room that he died
Right
in.
next to the bed. Yeah, exactly.
He's got a jacket that Robin Williams wore in a movie years and years and years before he passed away and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's memorabilia.
It is in a sense.
I don't see how it's like a demon devil possessed chair.
No, everything there is more of like a connection to something.
No, there are some things that, I mean, like the Dybbuk box legitimately is its own thing.
Yeah.
Peggy the doll or some of these haunted
That's
dolls.
true. You're right.
They are legitimate. They've got some shit going on with them. And they say that this rocking chair does too, but I'm just telling you, I don't see where it connects. That you're like, but he sat in it.
Yeah.
So the demon left the demon farted in the chair.
The
So
demon
now
fart
it's
is still there. So
it's still
poofs up every now and then.
That's what's burning your eyes
Yeah.
and everything.
I mean, it must
That's
be a
why
pretty
you're going
stank fart.
blind. I bet it was. I mean, like they smell like sulfur and shit,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, and again, more to your point, if it was in Carl's possession, you know, how come it didn't affect any of them in that time frame? It was just waiting to go to Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum.
Did he share any story? Oh, he shared people have back pain.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't look like a comfortable chair.
No. And actually, there's a ton of different chairs that aren't haunted that cause me to have back pain. You know, so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that this was a dude trying to make money, but
Oh, yeah.
Zach wanted to share the story.
Yeah.
And I get that.
And he does it well.
To have a room dedicated to that story. So you just grab some items from that. And this chair was probably the only thing he could really walk away with.
Well, the recording is mostly
and
the
the
attention grabber.
The $900 book, if you had that out or
Right,
whatever,
exactly.
somebody would probably break the case to try to get it. You
Yeah.
know, it's so exclusive.
I would have.
Yeah. I could see wanting this story to be a part of your museum.
Yeah.
His type of museum, you know. I think that I wouldn't be afraid to sit in it.
No, I don't think I would be either. But who wouldn't want a piece of Ed and Lorraine Warren's memorabilia? You know, it's a haunted museum. I mean, look at how well the Warrens did for themselves. They had their own haunted museum. And they have things that they're like, yeah, we're not selling shit. This is ours. We went to this place and collected these parts. You know, they're staying here.
Well, I mean, even just the boy's possession story.
Yeah, right.
And the fact that it went to trial and all of that.
Yeah.
That's fascinating
Yeah,
to
it
me.
is.
So, yeah, I think it's a fascinating story. I don't know about this chair. I was in and out through the whole museum having issues, not feeling well.
Yeah.
But it was also hot in some rooms, cold in the other.
Yeah.
We both expressed that we felt that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's what it was, just playing tricks on me that I
Yeah.
wasn't feeling well in some of the rooms.
It was
But I didn't pass out, unfortunately.
No, there was
I don't get to call up Zach or
No.
anything.
I did get to scream, so hopefully they got that on film.
But everybody does that though.
I'm pretty sure I freaked out whoever the guest was coming next into the room.
I think they like that though.
Yeah.
That's what they probably want.
That's
they
what they
want
want.
the people down the hall to hear her scream and be like, what is that?
Just
You
like
know?
dentists.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a fabulous museum, and this is an awesome, intriguing story.
Yeah. It has many layers, and I only just like kind of scratched the surface just to give you guys and you know what I felt was an informative part of the story.
Yeah. I think the rocking chair might be just a regular rocking chair.
I don't know.
though.
Demon farts?
Demon farts, and now it's sitting in a terrible place basically.
It is in a really terrible place.
I'm sure some demon or spirit in there is like, oh, look at this comfy chair.
Comfy, yeah. I could see if it's rocking on its own, there's just a little demon. He's just like,
Right. I don't know
whittling.
I don't know that it has anything to do with the possession story, and not
Yeah.
just that you brought this rocking chair
Right.
in and now these other spirits are like, what's this room? What's going on in here?
checking it out one by one. Yeah.
Yeah, look at
Hey,
this.
look at that cool rocking chair.
There's
There's
no
no
more
more
rocking chairs.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, so for them to get comfy, that's pretty much it.
I dig a good rocking chair. Yeah. It's very relaxing.
Yeah.
Then they probably get pissed off because they're like, this is not comfortable.
No, but if they get to listen to that Sweet Possession tape too, that's their jam.
Yeah, they trance out
Yeah.
in there and stuff. And they can't just help but accidentally project that and burn somebody's eyes and make them go blind.
Sorry.
They're like, I'm so into it. The music.
I mean,
know?
you guys set this whole thing up for me. How could you not want me to be a demon? I mean, that's just my thing. That's what I do.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just interacting with the other stuff in his place. That's just my take on it.
Yeah.
Because I don't see how the rocking chair plays such a big part in this whole story. Now, if you brought like the well
Yeah.
or something.
Oh, shit. I don't know if the well still
murder
exists.
weapon.
Well, the thing is, too, there's pictures of Lorraine Warren, like, with the chair. They had that in the museum, too. So, I mean, like, it's just basically saying, this is really the chair. When you go in to see the Kevorkian murder bus, they're like, see, same dent, even though they thought it was crushed. No one could put this dent on here exactly the same way. So, this has to be the same van.
Yeah.
So
I get it.
That's all it is.
It sets the room to tell that story.
Yeah.
But I don't know that chair's going to hurt you is all I'm saying.
No, I don't know.
I think there's a bunch of stuff in there that could, if you're really sensitive or if it's just in the mood.
Yeah. It's just in the mood.
Because obviously tons of people go through there and don't pass out or anything.
Right.
And then there's the occasional few that they're just like, I'd like a little bit of her energy.
Take that.
She looks sparkly.
Sparkly.
Yeah, but it was a great story. Thank you for sharing with that and giving
Cool.
me more of the details.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Anytime I can give you more on Ed and Lorraine Warren, you can count on me. So that's it. Yeah, that's all I got for you. And thanks so much for listening. And goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. That's the demon.